I am the outdoor classroom teacher, which means that I get to spend my days, my mornings, teaching from grade 1 to 5 outside.
Laura came to me to talk about the amount of waste we had in our school cafeteria. And then we started to do a deeper dive into food literacy and food sustainability. And then the pandemic hit, but we still wanted to focus on food sustainability and food literacy. So then the garden project came about and it easily morphed into that. The kids are super excited. They were building the beds in the auditorium during the spring when there was still snow, and just having them with hand tools and building, they're so excited. And our students are really connected to the place they live and they care about it.
I was a child who needed to be outside. So I was one that was way too busy to be indoors, and it was never reflected in my grades how well I could perform, I found. So every so often I would get a teacher that would take me outside, and those are the days that I remember I was the most engaged. So when I made the shift to move outside, I just immediately saw these students that were I saw a whole other side of them that you could never pick up on inside. Found I could build relationships with them better when we were outside. They let down a lot of their walls where they wouldn't do that indoors as easily. And the biggest thing by far is that the curriculum is like co-created outside. So you have this opportunity to not sit down every night and plan, and instead just be open to all the possibilities. And then the kids and you can work together in a way to create what it is that you're learning about that day. It's way less work for me. It's way easier to differentiate, first of all. So you'll have like something that comes up, some kind of emergent curriculum, and the students will just like be immediately drawn to it, and they'll bring in all their background knowledge, and they'll start making comments and asking questions and be super curious about something. And it'll just like spur all these other passions out of the rest of the students who might not normally engage with something as easily.
One of our Siniacs elders came to look at the area and name the wetland in Nasilchin. So that was a good start to it, and I think when we have more Indigenous plants, we'll also be using local languages with those plants. And we have some teachers that are focused on language learning, and one of our focuses this year for reconciliation was introducing Nasilchin language to our students, and Ojibwe, Tanaha.
Shelley is the Indigenous support teacher at our school. She is very busy. She's booked out all the time. Every time she gets a little opening, she just like moseys on out to the outdoor classroom, because I love to create space for her out there and invite her. It's always an open invitation. So some of the things that we're looking forward to in the future is putting in some native plants.
Community members know about it and are involved in it in some way. From the start, Laura connected with the community partners that ran the garden, and then the city as well, city workers, and then businesses that are donating their time or their materials.
Part of what we do in the outdoor classroom is constantly trying to challenge these hierarchies and decolonize our understanding of the world. And having the garden there in this collaborative environment with the community gardeners is just another great way to do that. So for example, the old garden had a very large fence around it, and it was locks on it. And so one of the conversations I had, hey, do we really think a fence is something that we need, and what are the pros and cons of that, and how often it's about keeping people out, whereas a community garden is a community space and we want it to be inviting so that people can come in. Yes, we're going to have to deal with the animals, but that's another conversation about the more than living species that we share this space with, and we have to make sure that we're creating space for them too.
It's so great to take learning outside of the four walls of the building. As a teacher librarian, my library is very difficult sometimes to take outside, but having that connection between the outdoors and the inside of the building, and it's always filtering through those doors, is phenomenal.
Especially following the pandemic, I needed a passion project. I needed something to focus on, because that's just what I'm like. And being able to put all my energies into something like this that I know is going to have such a huge impact for years to come with the students that I teach now, but also future students and future community gardeners, has just been pivotal to pull me through this. And I think that the shift that needs to be happening now, and that I see starting to happen, is that instead of going out into nature where we have to take these things like classroom management and lessons. Let's instead go out onto the land and see the land as the teacher. And when that happens, the land helps with that classroom management. So it's not something that you need to come in this position of power over. You can go out and just teach students how to respectfully enter into relationships with the more than human in the outdoors. And from that comes this respect and accountability that manages the class for you. So instead of thinking it as something that we need to place on top of outdoor learning, let's look at the land and see what it offers, because it can often be the best teacher.
To